G'day fellow green thumbs, and welcome to part 2 of my backyard orchard. In permaculture you want to mimic nature and develop a food forest, so I've tried to collect as many varieties as I can. Most of the ones in this video that you'll see are either subtropicals or tropicals, and they range from 1 to 2 years of age. This tree here is the only temperate climate tree. It's the same age as the green gage and the nectarine that you saw in the previous video. If you haven't seen it, I'll put it in the links bar below. With this guy, he's a dwarf, so although they're the same age, he's much smaller and he won't grow to the same height, probably only a third. He's been in this pot now for 3 years. I've companion planted as well, and I haven't had any problems with any insects or pests on this tree at all. There's quite a bit of fruit on here you can't see, and that actually protects the fruit from a lot of the insects' trouble as well. The colour of the foliage is beautiful in autumn. It turns real crimson red, and the flowers in spring are another benefit as well. Big draw for bees and the pollinators. That's enough about this tree. The tree to my right here is a Panama berry. It's a prolific fruiter. It fruits for about 9 months of the year, for me anyway. There's flowers, there's green fruit, there's red fruit, there's half-ripe fruit. They don't make it upstairs, I just eat while I'm out in the garden. My sisters describe the taste the best. It tastes like caramel popcorn. The little tree in front of me, I've only had for a couple of months now. It's a rare one, I've been told. It's a green sapote. Only a little guy, but I'll give him a bit of love, and hopefully in a few years' time I'll get some fruit. This one here is a seedling grown soursop. There is a lot of stuff on the internet saying that apparently it's a cure for cancer. But you make a tea out of the leaves, and yeah, apparently it's really good for you. The tree behind me is only a few months old as well. It's an imperial mandarin. It's my favourite out of all of the citrus. I don't really bother to grow much citrus, mainly mandarins. That's my favourite, and it's only a few months old, but they'll come along. The tree to my right is a donut peach. It's quite a rare peach. I only found one tree when I went to the nursery, so I grabbed it. It's been in this pot now a year. I actually got a surprising amount of fruit off of it this year. Really nice tasting. This one here is another rare one. It's a yellow jaboticaba. It's related to the black jaboticaba, which I had in part 1. I'll put that in the link to it in the description bar. But it's only a little one. Hopefully in about 3 years. It fruits faster than the black one, so I don't have to wait 7 years for this guy. The one in front of me is an Australian native. It's a finger lime, a pink variety. They've got strange fruit. They don't have membranes or segments like normal citrus. They have granular inside, like caviar. They go well in cocktails. The trees to my left, I collected from my sister's road, just from the roadside. They are pink guavas. I've got a bit of fruit on it. I'm sorry about those sirens. Ooh, it shows I live in suburbia, right? Yeah, well, there's a bit of fruit on here, and I need to repot them, so I'll show you how to do that in another video. This tree here is native to Southeast Asia. It's called a longan, or in English a dragon eye. It's related to lychee. They're similar in flavour, it just doesn't have the acidity that a lychee does. This one's 2 years old. The guy in front of me is a rare tree from South America. It's called an Aruca boy. I bought this when it was literally the size of only one of these branches. It's over a year, I think nearly 2 years old, this guy. And I've just noticed now as we started to film that it's flowering for the first time, which I'm really excited about because it's rare and I've never tried it. Apparently it's a very fruity flavour and fruits all year round. Grows to 2.5 meters tall, so I don't know if it'll hold the fruit or not, but I'll keep you updated anyway. The tree to my left is a pineapple guava. They only grow to about the size of a cherry, but they're delicious. I love all the guavas. This one's not even a year old and it's already just about to come into flower. I can see some buds forming. But that's those 3 trees anyway. These 2 trees here are from Southeast Asia. This is an actual lychee. It's 2 years. It had some flowers this year, but it didn't carry any fruit. I'm patient, so I reckon next year I might get something. The one here is related to the queen of fruits, the mangosteen. This is a yellow mangosteen. It's actually related to gardenias, the ones that you might grow in your garden. It hasn't fruited for me yet, but patience. The one here is a non-astringent persimmon or a fuyu fruit. I'm hoping to graft some of these onto the persimmon root cuttings that I took before. They're in my previous video. These 2 trees are both citrus. They're both dwarf. This is a lemonade tree. It's my mom's favorite. And this is an Ellendale mandarin. When I say dwarf, what actually makes them dwarf is these trees are grafted. If you look here, this part here is the root stock and this is the variety that you're growing. This root stock here governs the size of the actual tree itself. So both of these trees are on dwarfing root stocks. I reckon they're about a couple of weeks off flowering. The interesting thing with citrus is they can hold their fruit for about 9 months and still stay good. It's the curry leaf tree from India. It's actually fruiting at the moment. It's deciduous, I've noticed, so in the winter it lost all of its leaves and this is its new fresh crop just coming on. I'm thinking once it's finished fruiting, it'll bushy out a bit more like it was last year. But I'm going to grow some of those seeds. You can't actually eat the seeds from what I know, just grow the plant really. It's mainly the leaf that you use as a spice. This guy here is a gooseberry, mainly grown in the northern hemisphere, but it seems to be growing alright for me. I got it last year from Bunnings, just as a root cutting, so it had no leaves on it, so I'll be interested to see how this grows. The one beside it isn't doing as well, but I think it'll still live. It's a blackcurrant. It's mainly grown in really cold climates, so I think I'll need to move it around to find a cool spot in the yard. This one here is from South America. It's a grummy chummer, similar to a cherry in flavour. It's a black coloured fruit, similar to a jaboticaba. Hopefully this will flower, I reckon, within a month. It's only just over a year, this one is. But that's these guys. The one behind me is a Thai white guava. There's a few fruits on that one. And the one to the left of me is a Yarra Happiny plum. It's a blood plum that was bred in Australia. It just finished fruiting and the fruits were delicious. Beautiful. This one in front of me is native to Southeast Asia. It's a fruit and it's a spice. It's the pandanus, or the pandan actually. You use the leaves as a substitute for vanilla. I make a really nice Malaysian dessert out of these guys. It's one of my favourites. It's why I bought the tree as well. Plus you can eat it, it's a perennial. The one beside me is a dwarf white peach. It's covered in fruit. It's only 2 foot tall and it's 5 years old. The way I prune it, I keep it nice and small, and it's pretty much a bonsai that fruits. This is the first year that I haven't had to hand pollinate a lot of my fruit trees. I've noticed I've got bumblebees and some native bees flying around. So growing flowers actually has paid off for me, but I think that accounts for why it's got so many fruit on it. The bees did their work. With all fruit trees, if you let them grow vertically like this shoot is here, they'll just continue to grow, and that won't produce hardly any fruit. If you train them to grow on the horizontal like this, you'll actually trigger fruit spur growth rather than vegetative growth, which means more flowers, meaning more fruit. This is the first year that it actually flowered and fruited for me, so I've only got one on there. I'm dying to taste what that one tastes like. So in permaculture, whatever site you're growing on, you want to break it down into zones. Zone 1 for me is where I grow all of my container garden, which is what you just saw. In zone 2 for me, this is stuff that I grow in the ground. I've got a few fruit trees in the ground. This guy here is a dwarf Cavendish. That is just about to fruit, I think. The guy beside it is tapioca, manioc, cassava. Wherever you come from, it has a different name. But that's a starch crop. And behind that is another starch. It's taro, a purple variety. They're both staples in Polynesia and in Asia. Actually, quite a few countries around the world rely on those guys. So this is a 5-year-old banana clump. I say clump because that's how you manage bananas. This guy here in front of me is fruiting at the moment. I've just harvested a bunch off about a month ago. They're all gone now. But that tree stood to the left of this clump. You chop the whole tree down when you harvest the bunch, because that one banana stem will only fruit once. So this bunch here, when it's ready, I'll chop that whole tree down, and the tree below it, the smaller one, will grow up to replace it. And that's pretty much how you grow bananas. This guy is a ladyfinger. Really nice. It's my favorite banana. So in front of me is black mulberry that I collected in my travels. It's just finished fruiting. I got a decent crop off of it, but I've pruned it back about a month ago, just after it finished fruiting, and this is the regrowth. I cut it back to a stump. They're quite easy to take cuttings from. Literally, they're like willow. You chop a piece off and stick it in the ground. Below me here is a variety of raspberry. This is chill cotton. It's just starting to bud out now. The fruit and the berries will probably be 2 months off. Behind me and beside me is the golden Panama passion fruit. The possums have hit it hard this year, which is probably why you can see netting kind of. But I'll show you in another video my battle against possums. I've yet to find a reliable solution to beat the possum, but I'll find it. Growing all around me is a 5-year-old grape that I've got growing in a pot. It's the second year it's fruited. I didn't prune it as good as I should have, which is why I haven't got as much fruit as I probably would have had I pruned properly. Either way, I've still got some fruit. It's a white grape variety. I'm pretty sure you can make wine, or it's a good table grape. It's a versatile variety, I've heard. So I've got a lot more to show you in my garden, and I've got a lot to share with you on how easy growing your own food can be and how rewarding it can be. And you too can have your own backyard harvest and enjoy the benefits of growing your own food and feeding your soul at the same time. So I'll have to say sayonara for now.